My mother-in-law wants to prove that my children are not my husband, so she tested them without our consent, so I want her to prove her worth to be invited to our wedding. My husband's family can be extremely judgmental and have said they didn't like me or my character because I grew up in a place opposite to where they're from. Every time I met with his family, some drama would unfold. For example, his mom accused me of touching his brother's leg inappropriately at his grandfather's funeral. I slapped his knee because he told me a joke I thought was funny. I chalked it up to the fact she just lost her dad. She didn't like me, so she needed someone to take some type of anger out on. I put up with a lot more than that for my husband since I never wanted to be the type of person to ask him to choose. 5 months ago, I had our second child. When I found out I was pregnant, my husband and I were going through a rough patch. We almost divorced because of a lot of things, his mother being one of them. We decided to work on our marriage, and we've been amazing ever since. The best we've ever been. During my pregnancy, his mother and I got close. I'd like to say I'm forgiving and try to see the best in everyone. It also made my husband happy. She even came down to stay with us when I had the baby. Fast forward a month, and she called my husband and said she and his dad would love to come and visit since his dad had yet to meet the baby. I thought the visit went well, but while my husband had gone outside to get my toddler's car seat from their rental car, my father-in-law told my husband he needed to swab his mouth to ensure the baby was his. My husband, of course, got angry and asked my father-in-law why they came to visit. My mother-in-law ran outside because she heard them fighting and told my husband it was nothing like that everyone in the family was swabbing their mouths because they were doing a 23andMe. She said my sister-in-law and brother-in-law had done it and wanted him to do it, too. He declined to do one, and we left it. A month after the visit, my mother-in-law called my husband and said she needed to speak with him privately. He went outside for an hour to speak with his mother and returned inside visibly upset. He pulled me to my room privately and informed me that my mother-in-law and father-in-law had swabbed both my newborn's mouth and my toddler's mouth when they had visited. They said that my toddler came back 99.99% related to them, but my newborn only came back 11% related to them. So they felt the need to tell my husband so he could get my newborn DNA tested. I was confused and angry. When my husband and I separated, I had not slept with anyone else since our relationship was so rocky. I didn't want to do anything more to jeopardize losing him, so I didn't understand why she felt the need to take a DNA test into her own hands, especially since it wasn't a concern of my husband's. Ever since my husband was told of the DNA test, he and his mother would not stop fighting for several reasons. I no longer trusted her with my children, and I no longer wanted her around, and she couldn't understand that. We decided to get a DNA test on our newborn so we could shove the results in her face and we could move on with our lives. Of course, the test returned 99%, and my husband and I thought we could just pretend it didn't happen, but the damage was done. That brings us to today. We set boundaries with mother-in-law and father-in-law. They can no longer video chat with the children every day like before. Our daughter is not allowed to go over meals alone, and we no longer update them about things going on in our lives. We've kept them at a distance, and it's working for us. Recently, my husband and I started marriage classes to redo our wedding with our families. My family knows the whole situation with mother-in-law, and I'm also not her biggest fan, so I told my husband I did not feel comfortable inviting them to our wedding. My husband was upset but understood. We have sent out our save the dates to everyone in his family except mother-in-law and father-in-law. There has been nothing but drama since. She has not apologized. She called me to talk out the situation and explain that I understood her doubt. I also explained to her that it made no sense to me why she couldn't just ask me for the test since she and I were in such a good spot. I would have done it willingly. Her apology went along the lines of I'm not going to apologize because I believe what I did was right to protect mine. When I informed her we were taking some space, she responded, I don't understand because I've disrespected you so much in the past. Why is it now different? I've spoken with my husband about the situation, and he said he is fine.